Okay. Hi, everybody. Okay, so today I wanted to address some things that we have addressed before, but I'm going to address them in a little bit of a different context. And it's really, I've done talks on free will 1,001 times. We all have free will. And free will is this, real simple. We can choose to feed our fear, or we can see the truth. Okay, that's free will right there. And it goes back to this old hand thing. So here we've taken our world. This is our horizontal world. We've given it all the meaning it has. There was incest, there's fear of no money, there's fear of dying, fear of illness, fear of pain, whatever. That's how we perceive our world. What we're doing with the mind training is to come completely to the other side. I'm love, period. No exceptions ever. So the fear that's coming up is our dualistic mind. It's not coming from the one mind of love. It's coming from the dualistic mind. And that's why this is definitely a process, guys. I'm going to read to you from, I think it's lesson 97. I am spirit. Just a paragraph. I am spirit. That's this side of the coin. It's not from the projection side. It's from I am love, I am spirit. Okay. This is a non-dualistic mind. Today's idea identifies your will with your one self. It accepts no split identity, nor tries to weave opposing factors into unity. It simply states the truth. Practice this truth today as often as you can, for it will bring your mind from conflict, dual, to the quiet fields of peace, the truth. No chill of fear can enter, for your mind has been absolved from madness, letting go of illusions of a split identity. So the mind training, all it is bringing us back into the truth. I am spirit. I am love. This is what we forgot. This is the crazy mad idea. We forgot we were whole and complete, and we split off into this horizontal world of I don't have enough money. I don't have the right partner. I need a vacation. I'm angry. I'm sad, whatever. So every time those fears surface, whatever the fear is, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. And it will get crazy at times. I guarantee you, you will have days where you go to bed exhausted and you haven't done anything except, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. And that's good news. That means you're catching all that nonsense that surfaces. And all that nonsense is that sense of unworthiness, that we're not worth the truth of who we are. So in the split mind that's taking all our perceptions and making them mean something, and mostly what it comes down to is I'm not worthy, and I'm filled with shame. And every time those thoughts come in, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. And it sounds insane, particularly after you do it for a while and you get, oh my God, I've been doing this to myself. No one is doing this to me. I was speaking to someone this morning and he was talking about, he was having a lot of anger come up. And it was anger related to his mother. But I said, the first thing you can do is see it has nothing to do with your mother. You have anger coming up. It's okay. I mean, quite frankly, anger was the hardest emotion for me to let up. There was so much shame with it for me. And so, there was a part of me that thought, well, if I don't let this anger up, then I won't feel the shame, which is very much the way we were taught. But you've got to let the anger up. You've got to allow yourself to the anger. Just don't project it on anyone. No one caused it. See, really the anger, and once you start getting clearer and clearer and clearer, you'll see this. The anger is coming from, why did I ever separate? I was pure spirit. I was pure love. And now I believe that I have all these fears. My God, I'm fear I'm not going to work enough to make enough money for the rent. My car isn't going to start tomorrow. No one's going to love me. My children hate me. Whatever the fears are, and they come in all different forms and packages. But you'll start seeing yours clear and clear, because we all have our favorites. And once you see it, my fear of angry men, it's, there are no angry men. There was just my fear of angry men. And so every time I had the thought, oh my God, they're angry and they're a man and I need to avoid them, I go, no. They're just a lesson I would learn. So if you have fear coming up around money, or if you have a fear coming up around someone not liking you, simplify it. I have fear coming up. And it's coming up in the form of anger or sadness. Doesn't matter. They're the same thing. One's not better than the other. They're just feelings. See, the whole world of perception, the whole world of meaning is a world of feelings. I go back to David Hoffmeister's levels of mind work. He has these huge concentric circles of emotion and thought and all this. It's just stuff that we've made up and now we believe. Just like, and let's pick one. Let's pick fear of finances. I fear I don't have next month's rent, and I can prove it. I'll show you my bank account. I'll show you what's coming in and what's going out. I can prove it. Well, if you're willing to just sit with the pure fear, there's no cause for it. Not having money is not a cause. There is no cause and effect other than the cause is fear and the effect is split mind. So if we can just see all these different thoughts that we've given meaning to, is just something that my psyche needs to allow up without putting it as cause and effect, or they're doing this to me. It's ownership, pure unadulterated ownership. And it doesn't make you a less than perfection. For me, the anger was a tough one because it meant something. From early on, the whole storyline was Dad was angry and he was scary when he was angry. And then my mother reiterated it, honey, they won't like you if you're angry. So I got real good at keeping that down. Don't show anger or people will leave you. My dad would get angry and we all disappeared. My mother telling me they won't like you if you're angry. So if I get angry, people will disappear. There's nothing wrong with anger. There's nothing wrong with any feeling. But we have to let it up in the purest of forms, express it in whatever way you need to express it without making someone wrong or responsible for it. The only one that's responsible for my feelings is me. And it's okay to have those feelings. See, that's when we get into unworthiness, when we make those feelings wrong. You know, we're shaming ourselves. Oh, you can't be angry. Oh God, no, that's wrong. And there's shame attached to it. So what happens is we push it away because none of us wants to feel the shame, but really it's the good news when the shame comes up and we can catch it as a thought and go and challenge it. You know, I'm thinking of Byron Katie. You know, okay, so let's take the thought, I don't have any money and I can prove it to you. Byron Katie attaches it this way. Is that really true? Is it really true? Well, I can prove it. I only have maybe $20 in my bank account. But do you know it's really true? Well, no, I have $20. And so it's challenging those thoughts in our mind that keep us trapped into a belief that we're not the truth. Complete, whole, complete love, all of it. And it's not until you jump out and fly without wings off of these cliffs, like the money one. You know, I gave all my money away and then I went through, oh my God, what have I done? And blah, blah. You know, if Dad were alive, he'd kill me. I mean, I had a lot of thoughts come up when I gave all my money away. And then it was, you know, I can't remember, Suzanne Sullivan was with me and it was such a perfect lesson because I thought I maybe had $4,000 in the bank. And she went with me into the bank at one time and it was in pesos. And she asked him how much, you know, we asked how much I had in the account and he gave it in pesos and she did the computer thing. And she said, yeah, it's about $4,000. And I said, well, that's about right. And then we just went on with the day. And later in the day, she called me and said, Calico, I can't believe I made this mistake. You have $30,000. And I'm thinking, where the hell did that come from? I didn't put it into that account. Now, I don't even consider that a miracle. I consider, well, a miracle in mind. It didn't even matter that I had 30. I was fine with the 4,000. But at this point, I had healed my money issues. And all of a sudden, I'm finding, oh, I have $30,000. Where did that come from? Well, God will take care of me if I trust. But by then, I'd already dove off the cliff. I gave it all away. You know, Suzanne said, yeah, you've got 4,000. And I thought, fine, that was what I was thinking it was. And then later on the day, she said, I made a huge mistake. It's 30,000. And that's the way life starts occurring. But I don't claim the money is the miracle. I claim the miracle is my mind is no longer focused on money because I know I'm going to be taken care of. That's the miracle. It's not the little fears that we have belief systems built up about. Now, this didn't just happen. There was a lot that went into that, but it was one thought at a time. You know, the thought would come through, oh God, I'm never going to be able to survive. I don't have any money. Catch the thought. Holy Spirit, I know this is not true. And I need your help for me to see it differently. And then you may be having a really bad money day and you'll say it maybe 50, 100 times. And then you'll find you'll have like 4 or 5 really good days that you don't think about money once. And this is just the process. And then, you'll think about it again. You catch the thought, ask Holy Spirit to help you see it differently. And at some point, it's no longer a fear, really. And you just accept whatever it is as, okay, it is. And I'm fine with that. Because at this point, there's enough trust in the truth of who you are. You've done enough work with the Holy Spirit that you're really starting to find, oh, I'm liking myself no matter what. And I'm catching all these thoughts of you're not good enough, you're overweight, whatever your version of those thoughts are, challenging them to see them differently through the one that only sees me as love. And then things start shifting massively. So you're no longer dependent on the meaning. I'm sick. I have no money. I hate where I live. People are annoying. Whatever we have those beliefs are, we've done a good enough job as catching them. And then we come to this other side of, God, everything's fine. I'm actually feeling great today. And then you just move on with your day until another thought comes through is, oh, I don't have enough money. Where'd that come from? Holy Spirit, help me. That's not helpful. That's not a helpful thought. And I'm the one thinking it. And it's really, this whole thing with mind training is developing trust in ourselves. Because see, we've been telling ourselves forever, at least in this lifetime, how we don't add up. Oh, I don't look good enough. Oh, I'm not smart enough. Oh, I don't have enough money. Oh, I was born to the wrong parents. Whatever it is, that's the split mind. And we've been believing it. We've been believing it for so long. We no longer trust our minds because they're going back to finding proof of how you're fucked up. But as we switch this to the truth of who we are, I am spirit, I am love, those meanings that we've made, everything, it meanings for everything, angry men, whatever, I'm sick, disappear. And they no longer have any grip on us because we have more faith in, oh, I am love. I'm love. And so when those thoughts come through, they appear to be bigger and bigger and bigger because they're so loud of how we're not okay. And all I can do is say is grab them and do the same thing I'm telling you to do with all thoughts that aren't supporting the truth of who you are. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. And it sounds so simplistic. It really, really does. And it's not. It's powerful. Reclaiming a mind that we can trust once again to the truth of who we are, to see only the truth of who we are. And all those little thoughts of projection of, oh, they're angry, disappear because we're no longer projecting thoughts. We're just whole and complete and loving. And no matter what the script items are, and there are a million different ones, the money and the not enough this and not enough that, and I don't look good enough and I need to lose 5 pounds, whatever it is. They're all the same. They reinforce the split mind. What's that joke of, don't feed the angry wolf, feed the loving wolf? Well, they're talking about our minds. Quit feeding into these untruths of who you say you are. And you may not even say it. I mean, the angry thing, I couldn't even admit to it. It was so much push away for me. It was like, I just avoided angry men or angry anybody. And so I was around a lot of people pleasers because they were the only ones that weren't pointing fingers. They were just, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. We're all like little robot Stepford wives. Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. Everything's fine. And the reality was, it would have been much more helpful to be around, how are you? I am so angry today. Oh, great. That's great. How can I be most supportive? There's nothing wrong with these so-called negative feelings, except we push them away thinking, if I can just push it away enough, and with everything I own, and, or maybe positive, affirmations. That's another one. I choose not to be angry. I choose not to be angry. Oh my God, that is so not helpful. This is not a choice. Feelings happen. And they just come up, and it's ours to recognize when they're surfacing and go, with as little judgment and projection as possible, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Allow these feelings up, allow my anger up, allow it all up. It's no longer helpful. It's going to keep me trapped. And then you can truly release it. And it won't happen with one episode, one time. Like I said, the cancer wasn't always on my mind, but it took me a good, I'd say 6 years before I quit making it wrong. I finally was able to go, yeah, cancer, whatever. It's fine. And really meaning that, because it no longer was, it wasn't coming, it was always coming up in the context of, I am broken. It was me seeing myself as broken in some way. And all I'm here to tell you is, you're not broken, no matter what you're thinking. But in order for you to see you're not broken, you have to allow those feelings to surface and get them out. I was talking to someone this morning. I said, the anger for me was going to the mountains to throw rocks. I threw a lot of rocks, driving in my car with the windows up, screaming at the top of my lungs, letting it out, screaming in my pillow when I was over at La Casa, screaming in my pillow. Then we had a pool. I'd go underwater and I'd scream underwater. I just let it out. And then eventually, now I don't need to scream. There's not a scream left in me. Because I know resistance keeps it persisting. So now the access to clearing is to allow it up and ask for help to see it differently. Because if I don't see it differently, it'll persist. It'll keep cycling through. At some point, something else is going to tick me off, and cycle, cycle, cycle. And then that'll get less and less and less. But initially, it can feel very, very intense. And all I can say is, keep going. It's good news. It's great news. Because it has to come up. And the good news is, you're not hiding it from yourself anymore. You're expressing your fears. I'm fearing this. I'm fearing that. Great. Whew. Okay. Now ask for help with it. And just move on to the next thing that you're doing. And if another thought comes through of fear, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. These are magic words. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. I mean, it's kind of like you've got an invisible lamp that you're rubbing. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. And poof, eventually the thought disappears. And you're not having to ask for help with it. But you've got to be willing in the beginning to let it up as many times as it comes across your thought stream. And that will make the transition and the difference. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to say goodbye to all our YouTubers. Goodbye, YouTubers.